My name is Henry Samelson. I'm a learning designer who's interested in how role-play games can be used to engage high school students in civics. What do I mean by civics? Dictionaries and Wikipedia will tell you that civics is the study of how government and democratic processes work. That's true, but civics is more than just knowing about facts. Civics is also about citizens becoming engaged and involved in making government work. One simple example is voting. But there are more. I'll get to those later. First, I want to tell you a very short story. In high school, I studied civics like everyone else with Mr. Harris, who was a soldier in World War II. Mr. Harris had a glass eye which he liked to take out and put on his desk whenever he left the classroom. And every time he did this, he'd say, "I'm going out for a minute, but I've got my eye on you." For most of us in that classroom, Mr. Harris's glass eye was probably the most engaging and traumatic memory we took away from high school civics. And that's the only thing I really remember from my one and only high school civics class. And herein lies the problem. As recent studies show, for most high school students, civics doesn't get any better or more engaging than Mr. Harris's eyeball. For most high school students, civics is taught and assessed in a fairly traditional manner. Textbooks, essays, and multiple choice exams with role play near the bottom of the list. A study in 2014 showed that only 23% of 8th graders in public schools meet basic proficiency standards in civics for their grade level. A more recent study revealed a stark decrease in civic interest and engagement among citizens 18 years and older, which suggests that the 8th graders of 2014 may have turned into many of the socio-politically disengaged citizens of 2018. Why is this important? It's important because without engaged, civic-minded citizens, democracy can't function. It becomes easier for politicians to manipulate voters for personal gain, and for hateful ideologies to take hold and become normalized. Most importantly, perhaps, civic ignorance can result in the kind of political tribalism that we see between citizens today, with people on the left mistrusting anything that people on the right say, and vice versa. One way to address the long-term dangers of civic ignorance is to improve the way it's being taught in the public schools. Students need the facts, but they also need more authentic learning experiences that will enable them to put those facts into action, and that will inspire a lifelong engagement in the civic health of their communities and government. My solution is a game called Our Town. Our Town is a digital role-play game played on a computer. The game is set in an imaginary town that is falling apart. Players use many of the facts they learned in class to address real-world problems in the game, applying theory to practice. They take on the role of professionals like social workers, politicians, educators, soldiers, and bankers, and work in teams to address the problems they encounter, like homelessness, discrimination, environmental damage, government corruption, and more. Throughout the game, players can communicate with teammates and other teams using trade, currency, and other strategies to gain influence, add to their resources, and solve problems. Ultimately, the goal of the game is to save the town, because without that, no one wins. My design influences include the following theories and principles: Bloom's taxonomy, distributed cognition, authentic, situated learning, projective identity, problem-based learning, game feedback and scaffolding principles, effective design in games, systems theory, and designing for student motivation. Our Town will provide students with an authentic learning experience that provides a stronger sense of what it feels like to engage challenges as an adult and professional. Hopefully, it will inspire many students to view problems outside the lens of inherited ideology or stereotypical images of others, and develop interest in continuing to be engaged, perhaps as professionals themselves one day, doing the work that will save us all. I hope you will come talk to me about my game after the expo, and you can contact me at henrysamelson@nyu.edu. Thank you.